Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode 157. We're going to land the boat today. Paul and his 276 companions land safely on land today. We've been following Paul sailing for Rome and getting into trouble. And yesterday we found that God was granting him all the lives of all who sail with him. 276 people were in this intimate association with him on this boat. And we asked yesterday about, well, maybe that the corollary could be the people in our lives that sail with us. And we asked the Lord for his favor on the people of maybe our families, the older generation or the same generation or the younger generation, or church members or people that share the same hobbies, or neighbors, or the people that we work with. So that at least for once, God was gracious enough to give Paul, just by association, not by faith, but just by association, the people that were around him. And then we looked at who were the people, and we remembered the pilot and the sailors wanted to murder their passengers, in the sense that they were going to try to escape on the lifeboat, if you will, and leave the non-sailor people to crash the ship and be wrecked. So in that group of people was Paul, the centurion, and the soldiers and other passengers. And today we find more people that want to kill people in the story. And the title of this is The Shipwreck. So it's more drama. It's from Acts chapter 27. And it's 39. Now, when it was day, they did not recognize the land, but they noticed a bay within a beach on which they planned, if possible, to run the ship ashore. Now, one of the reasons why they're confused about where they are is they've been in the open sea for 2 weeks, not seeing anything, not getting any other highlights of where they might be based on the lands, and they're like 500 or 600 miles away from where they started on the island of Crete, and now they're gonna be off the toe of Italy, which is Sicily, and off the toe of Sicily, if you will, is the Isle of Malta. So that's where they're gonna land here. All right, back to the story, verse 40. So they cast off the anchors and left them in the sea, at the same time loosening the ropes that tied the rudders. Then hoisting the foresail to the wind, they made for the beach. So this is one final permanent, they have no more anchors, so this is a permanent bet that they're going to try to make it this way. And the drama continues. But striking a reef, they ran the vessel aground. The bow stuck and remained immovable, and the stern was being broken up by the surf. And then here we go. The soldiers' plan was to kill the prisoners, lest any should swim away and escape. But the centurion, wishing to save Paul, kept them from carrying out their plan. He ordered those who could swim to jump overboard first and make for the land, and the rest on planks or on pieces of the ship. And so it was that all were brought safely to land. And then chapter 28, verse 1 has a beautiful line in it, which I have to finish with. And it says, after we were brought safely through, we learned that the island was called Malta. And I just had to finish with, after we were brought safely through. All right, so we have more drama in today's story. The problem with reefs, number one, is that they're underwater, and these guys have had enough to worry about over the water, the storm, the tempest, the ship falling apart because of the wind. Then they've even had the treachery of the potential abandonment of the ship by the crew, and now we find in verse 42 that the soldiers' plan is to kill the prisoners. Now, you have to understand the time about why this was a reasonable and a legal thing to do. That all the soldiers served at the risks of their own lives. That is, the failure of their job. If they had prisoners escape, that would be fatal for them. And it's not theoretically fatal. In Acts chapter 12, when Peter escapes from prison, the locks fall off, the doors open, that sort of thing, and he's just in the morning, everybody's there, the soldiers are there, the chains are still there. There's just no Peter. After Herod inquires about this process, he has the soldiers. I think there was a group of four of them in charge of Peter that evening. He has that group of soldiers executed. So this is not a theoretical thing. It's like, oh, it's best if we have the prisoners with us when we finish. No, it's absolutely critical. All right, so how are they saved? They're saved by the butt of the centurion risking to save Paul. Now, this is where I was thinking today is it says, but the centurion wishing to save Paul kept them from carrying this out. Well, why would he want them to save Paul? Well, Paul has saved him. And remember yesterday, God has granted to you all those who sail with you. And maybe the centurion soldier has been thinking about it. And maybe he's thinking, well, who is it that has brought him safely through, and the crew safely through, and Paul safely through? Is it Paul that has brought them through, or is it the God of Paul? And don't forget, they even had a visitation from an angel. I think just Paul saw the angel, but maybe he had heard about the visitation of the Lord, the personal visitation of the Lord. So today's soundbite, if you will, is this concept about being brought safely through. And I think the response is gratefulness. Think about the way the Lord has been bringing you safely through various things in life. And even when we get to the death process and maybe you've walked through some people with that, the sense is that he's got that as well. And the hope today is that the centurion wanted Paul alive because of gratefulness of his own life, that God brought him safely through all these challenges, and for us, the satisfaction, the security of knowing that God is going to bring us safely through this life, and then God is going to bring us safely through our death. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed the landing of the ship finally. Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow.